Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. My name is Matt, also known as the Armor Wizard. Zap, zap, we have a body armor demo today. This one's actually from my home state, designed in Michigan by Royal Shield Tech, made by R.A.N.G.E in the PRC, or People's Republic of China. This is some backpack armor. It is a 10 by 12 single curve model. You can see we have just that one rolling curve there. This guy is 5.26 pounds, or for those across the pond, 2.386 kilograms. It is 1.03 inches thick, 26.1 millimeters for them. It is a standard 10 by 12 rectangle. Now here comes the long-winded spiel. Over here on my channel, we do all of our body armor demos completely different than a majority of other YouTubers. Since this is rifle rated armor, it's level 3 plus RF2, we shoot at the official NIJ testing distance, which is 45 feet for rifle armor. We also shoot at 0 degrees because that is considered worst case scenario. We also use a chronograph whenever possible because we need to know the velocity of a particular round, especially when it comes to our 5.56 threats. There's a lot of people who will use shorter barrel lengths and have reduced velocity. So again, here we're to give you worst case scenarios. We're going to use really long barrel lengths and we need to know the velocity. Since this employs a ceramic strike face per the NIJ, we've gone ahead and dropped it on its face 2 times. I do detect that this plate has foam drop face protectant, so we've added a DT for drop test to our current testing, and we also added a TQ for a torque test. That means if I go to flex it and I don't hear any cracking, that means to me at least it's passed a torque test. This is a tile array plate made up of silicon carbide, meaning that there are a bunch of little rectangle and square tiles that make up the strike face. Because of that, you can see from the secondary camera here, I have some marks on this plate, and that our ceramic does not extend all the way to the complete edge, although in this particular model it's pretty darn close. We also use a giant clay briefcase filled with Roma Plastilina #1 clay donated by Chavant. That acts as our compressible media and is a giant thing for us to put our body armor against so it's not flinging and flying everywhere. Now it's only around 45 to 50 degrees outside. I have been heating the clay in my little makeshift insulator beforehand, so it's going to get up to about 85 to 90 degrees, and it's just going to give us a representation. Since this is being sold as backpack armor, backface could be very debated because you're going to have books or different types of other materials between the plate and the wearer. And finally, we have a big spreadsheet that we put here at the beginning that kind of foreshadows all the different threats that we're going to shoot at it, and in the end we fill it out and we confirm all of our penetrations. We do a teardown so you guys can see what the guts of this look like, because some of these different armor types employ different internal components that make it very interesting. I apologize if you can't read the chronograph screen. The sun is very bright today, and I'm at a different spot because we've got a load of dirt in, so I had to move and use a temporary table so I can get my 45 feet. So hopefully the chronograph records all of these. We'll double check to make sure they do. We're going to start this plate off with our 5.56 threats, since that's what this was mainly designed for. We have M193, that is the 55 grain full metal jacket round known for penetrating steel. Polyethylene plate stops it very well. Then we have M855, that is the NATO issue round. It is 62 grains, lead core with a conical steel penetrating tip. Then we have the U.S. Army's current issue ball round. This is M855A1, that is the enhanced performance round version of M855. It has a copper core, a larger and harder steel arrowhead tip, both of which the M855 and M855A1 have hardened steel penetrators. We have our 22-inch TC compass here with our turbo 5.56, so we're going to get maximum real-world velocity out of these rounds. We should see over, I think, 30-50 for the M855. This is ADI M855, by the way. Just picked this up from Global Ordnance. We'll take 4 shots of each. They're all not going to fit in here. I don't know why I did it that way, but we'll start in the upper corner of the plate. 3412. And we're going to walk these right in a line. Two more rounds of M193. Now the M855 will be on the second row. Now the A1 will be on the third row where pretty much the wording is. .30, 41, or 47. So we are getting velocity readings off that. I'll go check the plate, and then I have a special surprise for you all. And now on to our special surprise. This is our Russian caliber 545 by 39 millimeters. Like 5.56 NATO, but the overall operating pressure is lower, so velocities are going to be a little bit lower. We have 7N6M. This was donated by the Mabel Morris Small Arms Research Institute. What's different about this versus all of the other 7N6 that you see is the core is actually hardened, right around 59 to 60 on the C scale, versus all the other 7N6 being a B scale hardness. We have the maximum barrel length that I have for 545 by 39, which is our SSG 82. This is a very rare gun. I do believe there's only 600 of them in the US. It has a 23 point something inch barrel, almost 24 inch barrel. Has a little box magazine that holds 7 rounds. This might wrap it up for plate number 1. He's going to be on the bottom. .3103. Last shot will be over there on the right. Nice. I love it when a plan works out. We've got all of our ducks in a row. M193, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Our M855, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Our M855A1, number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then our 7N6M shots, number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now that one's a little close to that one, so we may not consider that a fair hit. But let's see what's under the clay. Place those bets in the comments below. I haven't smoked a strap yet. Let me peel this off, folks. It's looking like no pass-throughs. Oh, wait a minute. We'll have to check that last shot of our 545 right there, because it looks like I can see a little bit of that core there, but our 556 threats, they're all stopped. Now our last shot of our A1 seems to be the largest dimple there. We will do a tear down and confirm any of these penetrations, but this polyethylene seems to be holding pretty darn well. I would say back face wise, this is the worst right there. 33 millimeters. Not too bad. Our last shot of that 545, 22 millimeters. Typically with our 556 threats, we don't really see a lot of back face. Our clay is pretty darn warm. We'll get this repositioned, and then we're going to step up to the 308. Now this is where we're going to test our plates construction. We've brought out another armor slayer. This is our 7.62 NATO M80 ball. It's 145 to 150 grain. Full metal jacket. Sometimes the jacket is bimetal, meaning that it has some ferrous metal in it. Other times it does not attract a magnet. This is the current NIJ level 3 threat rating. 2780 feet per second plus or minus 30. The upcoming NIJ 07 RF1 and 2 still has this in here, but I guess from what I understand is the number of shots for 07 has been reduced to 3 versus 06 standards level 3 is 6 hits. So this is our Savage Access 110 Tactical 24-inch barrel. Got the JK Armament rifle kit on here, so we're going to see over that spec. We're going to place these somewhere on this plate, maybe the outer corners. I want to save the middle for another special surprise. This is the advantage to this ceramic strike face plate, is it can take some pretty gnarly threats. The polyethylene looks like it could be pressed a little better, but it seems to be holding. Now with a pure polyethylene plate, M855 is going to be a weakness, and or steel M193, plate number 1 held those just fine. So this should be the upper part of the plate. .2858. I'll go to the extreme right. .2886. So we're about 100 feet per second over spec. This one, bottom left-hand corner. That might have been too low. Sorry about that. And then this will be the bottom right-hand corner. Now our plate is not rated for this, and essentially this is a level 4 threat, even out of shorter barrel lengths, but this is our M80A1. It is basically the big brother to M855A1. It's 130 grain, has a copper core, has a large arrowhead steel tip. Now it's not as hard as M855A1 unless some of these newer variants have hardened it, but it was right around 49 to 50 on the C scale. We have a SCAR 17S pistol. This has a 13-inch barrel. This was a build from FN Specialties. I had to do, essentially it's an 80% receiver that I finished. Very nice build here. Got a Burris mount up top with a primary arms scope. We have 2 rounds here. We'll see where the first one hits and make any adjustments on the scope offset. I'm hoping for right under where it says like strike face. .2686 if it picked that up. So we were right on line. Let's go to the right of that. .2678. Awesome. Let's go see where we hit on that plate. We have 6 hits on this plate, all of which I believe are fair, except for maybe number 4 of our M80 ball plus P plus down there. We're about 1 inch from the edge. As mentioned, this does not have true edge-to-edge strike face protection, but it's fairly close to having ceramic all the way to the bottom. But M80 ball shots number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then our M80A1 from our reduced barrel length shots number 1 and 2. The strike face holds up pretty well, but with silicon carbide, unless you have any kind of lamination on it, like we've seen in some of the higher end plates, every subsequent shot seems to send more crack propagation through our ceramic, even with the tiles there, and it just kind of falls apart. Place those bets in the comments below. Ho! Looks like we have, we'll have to double check these, no pass-throughs, folks. Now this guy down here, that last shot, all the way on the edge there, quite a bit of back face. And we have a bit of back face with our other shots too, but I've seen a lot worse. This is typically the limit that I've seen for imported polyethylene, mainly because we need a giant press to press and smash all those layers together, in addition to using an autoclave, which is heat and vacuum to help suck those together. And what happens is that all of this energy on this plate causes it to delaminate. But you can see that that round looks like it stopped. We'll double check these when we pull them apart. As far as our back face goes, I would say that one down there is the worst. 63 millimeters. Let's go fair hit on this top one up here. 35. This guy over here, about 42. This guy here, 33. 37. 43. So in an official NIJ test where this clay is heated up to 100 degrees and then calibrated, we could see significantly more back face. So we may want to look at adding a layer of foam on the back side of this plate. But overall, for a 5.5 pound plate, this comes very close to meeting our RF2 specification. That 308 may be the only caveat there, but again, we're above spec there. Very nicely done, H-Win and Royal Shield Tech. Now for a lot of people's favorite part, our teardown. Here is the back of plate number 1. Confirmation, the only thing that almost made it through was that 7N6M. You can see there's just a little bit of steel there. They would count that as a penetration in an NIJ test. Otherwise, all of our 5.56 threats were contained. I measured this around 730 thousandths for our polyethylene. I like that we have a foam edge protectant on our plate to protect it against any drops. You can see all of our shots there. Here is what's left of our strike face. They are using silicon carbide. I measured it right around 248 thousandths thick. They are tiles. We have our foam reduced strike face ring. I measured that right around 1/2 of an inch. Kind of looks to be the same all the way around. So instead of a 10 by 12 plate, you have ending up a 9 by 11 for actual strike face. With all those hits on there, that's pretty much degraded. And then on plate number 2, confirm there were no penetrations. Our first shot of the M80A1 made it the farthest though, but as you can see, here's close to the end. There is no penetrations in any of those rounds. Pretty darn impressive. I would say this plate did a very good job. The layers of our polyethylene could be bonded a little better, maybe a larger press or more heat or however that works. I am not a material scientist, so I don't know. Also, as mentioned in the opening, they are using a foam on the strike face to help protected against direct drops or hits, and it is 120 thousandths thick. Pretty spongy there. Looks high density enough that it did the job. Well, folks, it's simply amazing at what kind of threats our little tiny silicon carbide tiles can stop in our body armor. I would say R.A.N.G.E and Royal Shield Tech did a very good job putting this backpack plate together slash NIJ level 3 plus or RF2 plate. Now, my major detraction is, from what they've told me, is this is designed again as a backpack armor solution, and it's a little heavy at 5.5 pounds. Now the flip side to that is a lot of current offerings for backpack armor are either polyethylene, which is going to be lighter but potentially thicker, and or steel, which is going to be way heavier but thinner. And those two materials by themselves have their own inherent weaknesses, especially M193 for steel and M855 for our polyethylene. And those two rounds are what I would consider very, very common in many parts of the world, especially here in the continental United States. So to have a plate like this at 5.5 pounds that can stop all those rounds plus M855A1 and even a 7N6 bullet, as well as our 308 threats, I would probably give up that little bit of extra weight. Now the way to bring that weight down is either to go to a slightly thinner ceramic strike face, which could bring the protection level down, or include less of our polyethylene or up the quality of it so that you can go thinner and still stop some of these rounds. With all that being said, it's time for me to get the heck out of here. But at the end of all my videos, I take a moment to thank all those who help make these possible. Number one is my Patreon and Subscribe Star fans. I have a link tree in the description below with various different ways to support me, either through affiliate links or if you have any questions, those can be found below. Number two is Mabel Morris, a good friend of mine, Andy, who donated that 7N6 for us to sling down range. I have some more of it for any future videos, and I figured I'd just bring out the SSG82 today to see what kind of velocity we can get out of those. Number three is Royal Shield Tech and R.A.N.G.E, who in full transparency contacted me and asked me to perform a demo on this plate with no strings attached. And of course, number four is you all for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you at the range.